What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another video. The season is over and now we look forward to the Euros. I mean, it should be called Euro 2021, but it's actually still called Euro 2020.
I don't know what they're just marketing. I don't know. There's like, we've picked the name, we ain't changed the name. I don't care what year it's in. It's 2020.
literally. But what we're doing in this video, we are picking our Euro 2020 squad, our England Euro 2020 squad. Me and Sim have both picked our squads. I mean, we've both picked our squads, but we both basically went identical squads.
Yeah, we did it separately, but like, let's compare squads. It was basically the same, but there are a couple of differences, so we'll go through them.
Yeah, the differences will be much later in the video. But yeah, shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
Let's start off with the goalkeepers that we picked. We did pick the exact same goalkeepers. So with Nick Pope out injured, I think these are pretty much the only three choices, aren't they? So Dean Henderson, Jordan Pickford and Sam Johnston.
Yeah. The only other thing to say is who would be your number one?
For me, out of those three, probably Henderson.
Yeah, for me as well. I think Henderson's had the best season. To be fair to Pickford, he obviously had a very difficult 19-20 season. I do think he's been a bit better this season, Pickford, than he was last season. And I think a lot of the criticism he gets is because of, in general, he's been a lot worse as opposed to this, and also that as well. But I just think Henderson's a better keeper. He's more reliable. I think Pickford's strength obviously is kicking, distribution, which he has more. He's better than Henderson in that. But I think as a goalkeeper, Henderson is just a much more stable keeper. So.
Yeah, I mean, if Pope was fit, I think he'd start so.
You think Pope would start? It's a shame for him. It's a massive shame he's out. I still think Henderson's better than Pope, though.
Maybe. All right, let's go over to the right backs. Now, we have gone for the same right backs in Kyle Walker, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Reece James. That means that Kieran Trippier misses out.
That's what we've gone for. We understand that Trippier is one of Southgate's favourites. Obviously, did he start every game at the last World Cup, Trippier, apart from maybe the Belgium game?
Yeah, I think because Walker moved into right centre-back.
Yeah,
and then...
so look, and he did have a great World Cup, Trippier, no denying that. And he has just won the league with Atletico. But when you're comparing him to the three other right-backs we just mentioned, Walker, Alexander-Arnold and Reece James, for me personally, I don't think he's as good as them. I think Reece James has more physically about him and he has great distribution. I think he's a bit better defensively than Trippier. Alexander-Arnold, I think Trippier's probably a bit better here than him defensively, but Alexander-Arnold's output is just so ridiculous that it's just up there with even most wingers
as well.
Set pieces. So for me, I know it sounds like he's likely to be left out, but you have to take him for me. And with Walker, I just think, first of all, he can fill in at centre-back in a back three, and he can play that right-back role really, really well. As we know, he's one of the best right-backs in the league. So it's for me, I can't leave any of them out. And as much as I want to take Trippier, he's the odd one out for me.
Yeah, look, I completely agree. I mean, everything that you just said echoes exactly what I'm thinking. So,
I'm not taking Trippier because I think he's bad. I think he's a good right-back.
Yeah, look, I think
he's just not as good as those three, I don't think.
I think when you've got such talented right-backs there, Walker, Trent and James.
Didn't even mention Wan-Bissaka, who's also unlucky to miss out.
That's true. Wan-Bissaka's had a good season as well.
Yeah, and he's probably even, you could argue defensively, maybe even the best out of all of those.
Yeah, and when you're looking at these three right-backs, James had a good season, but Trent hasn't had the greatest of seasons.
He hasn't, but the last 3 months, just like Liverpool, he's really come on strong.
True.
And he's had a really good end of the season. And because we know how good he is in general, especially last season as well, he had an unbelievable season. I just think with him coming into form, you have to take him for me.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Let's move over to the centre-backs. We've gone for 5 centre-backs. Harry Maguire, John Stones, Tyrone Mings, Connor Cody and Eric Dyer. How does Eric Dyer slip in there for both of us?
Just about. He's so lucky. He's very lucky, but it's a lack of depth. Joe Gomez being out.
To be fair, though, there are a few more like on the fringes that we could have picked.
Well, obviously, Joe Gomez could be fit, but he's unlikely to be taken. There's Michael Keane as well from Everton. There's not too many options.
What about Fikayo
Tarkowski? But he's injured, I think, isn't he?
Tomori's had a great season with Milan.
Tomori has had a very good season with Milan, a young centre-back. Maybe he's a bit unlucky.
Ezri Konsa?
I think Dyer just has more experience, and Dyer has been to World Cups, he's been to international tournaments, and Southgate knows him.
You know who I think is in for a shout is Ben Godfrey. I think he's had a really good season.
Ben Godfrey for Everton.
Yeah. I think he's had a good season, man. And
but he's also...
I've been impressed with him this season.
Yeah, to be fair, he's also good. But I think he's also... I do think, actually, Ben Godfrey is better than Dyer. I just think that Southgate will see the Dyer... even though Dyer's had by and large, not had the best season by all accounts, I think... as a certain level of centre back, I actually think he's not terrible. Like, I know he's not good enough for Tottenham for what we need, but I think in general, like, he does make costly mistakes, but he can go through games where he's faultless and he plays quite well. So I just think with that international experience, all those caps behind him, I think he just sneaks in there. He's lucky. But I think this might be his last tournament.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that he shows he's got bottle as well, because, he stepped up and scored that winning penalty in the last World Cup against Colombia.
He did.
So, I mean, that's actually a lot to be said about that, because not many England players have done that.
And it'll be mad. That's true, and it's mad as well. He'll actually be, if he goes in the squad, he'll be literally one of the most experienced players in the squad in terms of he's got 45 caps, which there's not many players in the squad with more than that.
Yeah.
So I think Southgate will have, he's been to a World Cup before, he knows what it's like, so he's very lucky, but he sneaks in there.
I think that when you're looking at the next tournament, which actually is just around the corner, 2022, December 2022 is the World Cup. I think Ben Godfrey will overtake him for that one.
Yeah, and maybe even Conter as well.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the left backs. We have gone for Ben Chilwell and Luke Shaw.
Considering last World Cup, I'm pretty sure what our left backs were Ashley Young and Danny Rose.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So I think it's a big upgrade on that. And those two left backs will be fighting out. Two very good seasons. I think Shaw just shades it for the number one spot. But I think there's no, like, if Chilwell kills it in the pre-matches, there's no reason why he wouldn't be able to start as well. So.
Yeah, I think when you compare both of their seasons, obviously Shaw's had a brilliant season, but I also think Ben Chilwell has also had a really good season. And look, you got to say Shaw's had the better season, but when you compare them both as players, I don't think there's too much in it.
There's not much in it. There isn't much in it. They're very level pegging, in my opinion. I think Shaw will just shade it, but it could go either way.
And in terms of other left, because obviously we've picked 3 right backs, we've only picked 2 left backs. There's no one really else, is there, for left backs England?
Cresswell,
yeah,
Bertrand.
Yeah,
that's the pool you're picking of. So those two are the only ones really in their prime. You got James Justin, who might have made it if he stayed fit for the whole year.
Maybe.
But it's unfortunate.
Very outside chance, that one.
Yeah.
Defensive mids, we've gone for 4 options there with Declan Rice, Jordan Henderson, Calvin Phillips and Jude Bellingham.
So the ones missing out there for us is Ward-Prowse, obviously Harry Winks as well. Those two are missing out. Never really in a shout. Mark Noble, unfortunately, missing out.
I think Ward-Prowse is definitely in with a shout. I think he's had a really good season.
He has. And I reckon Southgate might even pick him because he's in the last England squad. But I just think those 4, if they're all fully fit, because Calvin Phillips apparently picked up an injury on the last day, so he might not be fit. And then obviously Jordan Henderson's been out for a while. Jude Bellingham's only 17. And the only one as well is Declan Rice, who's also just come back from an injury. So whether he wants all those question marks over all those midfielders is one thing, but I just think if all those midfielders are fully fit, they're the best of the ones we got. Yeah, and Bellingham's been brilliant recently, hasn't he?
Yeah, in terms of Henderson, you have to take him, don't you?
He's got just his
leadership qualities. Declan Rice, I think, probably out of the 4 has had the best season out of the 4.
Yeah.
Calvin Phillips as well. He's been central to everything Leeds have done this season. Jude Bellingham is an interesting one because cast your mind back to when Theo Walcott was called up around the similar age and he didn't see a minute. And when you compare the two players about what they've done in the game, Jude Bellingham seems like he's been around for ages compared to Walcott.
Yeah, starting regularly last season for Birmingham. They even retired his shirt. Embarrassing, we remember that for a 16-year-old.
But he's had a brilliant season at Dortmund.
Yeah, but look, not only that, it's like you remember over the 2 legs against Man City, he was brilliant in both those legs. Yeah. And this is a guy who, in 17, you might think when the big occasion comes, he might get overall, but clearly he can handle big occasions. And he was absolutely fantastic in both those legs. So I've got no issue in thinking that he'll be ready to play in these games.
Yeah, I was like kind of on the fence with Jude Bellingham until I saw that Champions League run, Champions League fixture against Man City. I thought he was brilliant. And as well, I think in the last England games, I think he came on or he started one of the games and looked really good as well.
Yeah. He did as well, yeah, that's true. I can't remember who we were playing against because I can't remember bloody England games
San
anymore.
Marino
yeah,
or something,
exactly.
But anyway.
But look, he played well. And I look, Ward-Prowse, you want him in there because his set pieces are brilliant and he's had a good season with Southampton, and he's a hard-working midfielder who you're going to get 100% if he's in the squad. I just think quality-wise, he's unfortunate, but I just think those 4 just shade it.
All right, no shout for Harry Winks?
he's missed the boat. Unfortunately, he had his chance, but he can't get in on the back of a good performance against Madrid a few years ago. I don't think
he can't get on the back of a good performance against Marine or Stoke.
I should have seen him against Wickham. Oh, what a performance!
What a performance! All right, let's go to the attacking midfielders. We've gone for 3 selections there: Mason Mount, Phil Foden, and Jack Grealish. And these 3, all have had absolutely insane seasons and all absolutely brilliant players, aren't they?
Those are the 3 I'm so excited to watch. They could all of them can play on the wing. All of them can play in the centre. So it'll be interesting to see how Southgate figures it all out, how fitting all those midfielders in. But I'm so excited to see those 3 on the pitch and playing together as well, because they're all absolutely fantastic footballers. I love watching them on the ball. They're so easy to watch, so easy on the eye, and they're all 3 absolutely nailed on. It's whether he takes another one like a Lingard or something like that.
Maddison.
Or Maddison, yeah. I think Maddison has just been too in and out of with injuries this season to make it. Lingard's had an unbelievable second half of the season, but for me, I don't think there's any room for him. I just can't see any room unless you take out a centre-back or you take out a winger. I don't see room for Lingard. So for me, Lingard misses out. And it's unfortunate for him. But those 3, there's no chance in hell any of those 3 are missing out.
No Dele Alli?
No Dele. As much as he had an okay last few games, it's not enough, unfortunately. And hopefully he'll learn from this, because I think it'll hurt him missing the tournament. I think it'll definitely have hurt him because he went to the last World Cup.
Yeah.
And did he go to the Euro in 2016? I think he did when he went to Iceland. So
going
to the last 2 tournaments and dropping so far down the pecking order would have hurt him, but hopefully it'll drive him on.
And him at the last 2 tournaments, he went into the tournaments like a Jack Grealish, like a Mason Mount, like a Phil Foden.
Yeah.
He was very highly revered, and he's been nowhere for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and look, rightly so, in terms of he shouldn't be going to this tournament, and I think hopefully it'll be a shot on the arm for him.
All right, let's look at our wingers. Now we're getting a bit of head-to-head here. So we've both gone for Raheem Sterling, Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
I've gone for Bukayo Saka and you've gone for Mason Greenwood.
I have.
I'll tell you my reasonings for Saka and then you can go on Mason Greenwood. In terms of Saka against Greenwood, I accept that Greenwood has... I think when you compare both their seasons, first of all, Saka's had a better season.
Yeah.
Second of all, Greenwood's definitely had a better second half of the season than Saka's had a second half of the season. But I think when you compare them both on a whole, I think Saka has had a better season. But the reason I'm taking Saka ahead of Greenwood is because of his versatility in case we get injuries or something like that.
Fair.
And I think that in a tournament, I think it's really important versatility. I think it really is. He can fill in at left back. He can fill in on the wing. So I think, look, he's a really good player to take, Saka. And I think he's got a lot of quality about him. But look... It's a hard decision because Mason Greenwood is a very, very, very good player, and he's shown in the last month or 2 how good he can be.
Yeah, I think I accept that reasoning with Saka, and I think Saka's been brilliant by and large for Arsenal this season. The only thing I would say about him is I do feel like he's suffering a bit. Huh?
He's a gooner.
There's one thing. I don't want any Arsenal players in this squad. Is he the only one, right?
Yeah.
He'd be the only one. So first of all, don't want any Arsenal players in the squad. And secondly, I just think he's suffering a tiny bit from burnout in the second half of the season. I feel like he's been a bit overplayed throughout the season. They've relied on him a lot. And he has, to be fair, stepped up by and large throughout the season. I think for the last, I would say, quarter of the season, he hasn't played as much. He's burnt out a bit and his form's gone a bit off. And his versatility is brilliant. He can play in all those positions to a pretty decent standard. I just feel like, for me, Greenwood, I think, just has that. First of all, he's coming into form right now. Last 2 months, he's been pretty electric, actually, true. Mason Greenwood.
Very true.
I feel like going forward in the final third, he's a bit more deadly than Saka. If there's if a chance falls to Saka or Greenwood, who would I rather a chance fall to, basically, Saka or Greenwood? I'd rather it be Greenwood. And also, Greenwood's a bit versatile and different to Saka. Saka can play left back. He can play right mid, left mid. Yeah, Greenwood could play out front though as well as on the wing. So he also offers an option there, which is good. So I think it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Saka's had a good season overall, but unfortunately, just timing is everything in football, and I think timing is working in Greenwood's favour this one, and so I'm just gone for Greenwood. Unfortunately for Saka.
Yeah, in terms of the other wingers that we picked, who was it? Sancho, Sterling, and Rashford. We both picked those 3.
Yeah.
Rashford. I mean, we were having a chat off air before, and you didn't think he had a great season this year.
Not the best. I think he had a better season the season before. I think I think a lot of games he's been quite anonymous and just hasn't been involved that much. And his goal tally, his goal tally of I think it's 11 goals, same as Bale with a lot less game time. I just think I reckon he'll be a bit disappointed with how the season gone. I don't think he's had a great season, but I don't think it's been so bad that he won't be in the squad.
He also comes up with very important goals and vital goals for Man United. So sometimes he can be in the right place at the right time, and sometimes he can be a big game player, Rashford.
Yeah. I think he's had a better season off the pitch than on the pitch.
But someone who really hasn't had a good season, Raheem Sterling.
Rashford's probably fed more children than he scored goals.
Yeah, probably. That's definitely true.
That's what I'm saying. He's better season off the pitch.
Yeah, that's very true. Sir Marcus Rashford, people are calling him. But
exactly.
What about Raheem Sterling? Does he have a chance to miss out?
No, he doesn't, just because he's so good.
Because his name's Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, pretty much. You can't leave out Sterling, as much as, again, another player who's only got 9 goals this season, so in the Premier League, so really below his usual standards. But it would cause an absolute uproar if they left Sterling out. And I just think, even though, to be fair, I don't think he actually turns up that much for England. I just think he's got so much quality that he always has that ability to explode. And he could easily be the difference maker if he turns up. So I think you just have to take him.
Why didn't he square it to Sterling?
Yeah, why? Because you saw that miss against, who was it? I can't remember who it was, Burnley or something.
But is there any other wingers out there that could potentially make the squad? I mean, the only one I can think of is Hudson-Odoi, but he's not going to make it.
There's Hudson-Odoi, he won't make it. Harvey Barnes might have made it if he didn't get injured.
True.
Eze, would he have made it if he didn't get injured? Probably not. I can't think of too many other players on the wing off the top of my head who had a chance of making it, to be honest. I think those are the best ones. And I think, to be fair, Sancho, for his first half of the season, people were saying maybe he won't make it, but he's had an electric second half of the season, so he's nailed on. So I think you got to take them. I think those are the ones. And also, you could also remember Mason, Mount, Jack Grealish and Foden can all play on the wing as well if need be. Yeah. So there's also options there.
Yeah. All right, and up front, we've gone for a different selection as well. Obviously, Harry Kane, the captain. So I've gone for DCL, Calvert-Lewin, and you've gone for Ollie Watkins.
I've gone for Ollie Watkins, just about.
Still, both of them, not much in it as well.
I think they've both pretty much, if you are saying who's had a better season, I would say it's pretty much the same.
Really?
I would say it's pretty much the same. I think... in terms of goals, Calvert-Lewin's got 2 more goals than Watkins, but then Watkins has got 3 more assists than Calvert-Lewin, so kind of evens itself out in that respect. I think just in my opinion, Watkins just has a bit more to his game than Calvert-Lewin. Not much, just a bit. I think his hold-up play, his general play is a bit more in tune than Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin's just a bit more of a poacher than Watkins is. And also, Watkins has a bit of a relationship with Jack Grealish as well. So if they get on the pitch together, maybe that relationship could blossom. Whereas Calvert-Lewin, I don't think he plays with anyone else in the squad. So I'm not saying that's a massive thing, but it just might, these little things can sometimes make a difference in a game, so that's why Watkins just shades it for me. There are a few unlucky people not to make it. There's obviously Danny Ings, who's had another decent season. You got Bamford, who's very unlucky not to make it, in my opinion. A great season with Leeds, but I just don't think
I don't rate Bamford. I really don't rate him.
Look, 17 goals, 11 assists. You can't sniff at that.
It's true.
So it's he's super unfortunate. But I think Watkins, in terms of a complete forward, he just shades it for me ahead of Calvert-Lewin.
I mean, a player that Southgate seems to like is Tammy Abraham. Started giving him 6 caps recently.
He's just not involved enough for Chelsea.
Yeah, I agree. But in terms of Calvert-Lewin, I think that it seems as though Southgate likes Calvert-Lewin a bit more than Watkins.
Calvert-Lewin's a bit taller, but I think Watkins, I don't know, I just think Watkins has a tiny bit more to his all-round game. I think Calvert-Lewin's just a bit more of a poacher, which might be what you need when you got all the attacking midfielders and you got all these wingers. But I don't know, I just prefer Watkins.
With that talent we've got in Mount, Foden, Grealish,
serious
Rashford, Sterling, Sancho, whoever it may be, they should be able to lay chances on a plate for whoever the striker may be.
Absolutely.
Kane or Calvert-Lewin or Watkins, whoever it may be.
Absolutely. And also Kane, Kane, first of all, shouldn't have too much of a need to drop deep with all that creativity. But if he does, he will know that there's serious players in front of him to make use of that space he leaves behind. So he should also, he should pretty much, Kane should be able to do what he wants on that pitch, really, and know that there's quality in and around him, and he shouldn't be scared to drop deep and shouldn't be scared to hang around in the box and try and pick up some efforts there. So I'm looking forward to what Kane is going to be like during this Euros.
Do you think it's going to be like that with whoever may be on the wings dropping in behind and Kane dropping deep, like we saw earlier on in the season?
I think it'll be
Or a mixed bag.
Yeah, mixed bag. I don't think it's going to be Kane just dropping deep or just staying in. I think it'll be a mixed bag. And we know with Kane, even if he does drop deep, it's not like he just stays there. He always finds his way into the box. And, the fact that he got most goals, most assists in the league this season shows that. So,
do you think it's going to be like his Spurs performance where he's just a complete action man, defence, midfield, attack?
I don't think he'll want to let this Euros pass him by. I don't think so. So I think he's going to try his ups. As he said in his interview with Neville, he just wants to be involved all over the pitch. That's what he wants to do. He wants to try his best for the team. And I think for England, it'll be exactly the same. So I can't wait. I reckon he's got a very, very big shout for Golden Boot at the Euros.
Well, he got it last World Cup, didn't
he? Exactly.
So let me just run through the squads that we have picked. I mean, pretty much the same squad we've picked. In goal, we've gone for Dean Henderson, Jordan Pickford and Sam Johnston, with Nick Pope obviously missing out through injury. The right backs, we've gone for Kyle Walker, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Reece James. The centre backs, we've gone for Harry Maguire, John Stones, Tyrone Mings, Connor Cody and a very, very lucky Eric Dyer. Left backs, we've gone for Ben Chilwell and Luke Shaw. Defensive mids, we've gone for Declan Rice, Jordan Henderson, Calvin Phillips and Jude Bellingham. Offensive midfielders, we've gone for Mason Mount, Phil Foden and Jack Grealish, who you probably say really do hold the key in this tournament. And the wingers, this is where it's gotten a bit different. So I've gone for Sterling, Rashford, Sancho and Saka, and Sim's gone for Sterling, Rashford, Sancho and Greenwood. And then up front, obviously we've both gone for the main man in Harry Kane, and then I've gone for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and Sim has gone for Ollie Watkins. That is the England squad. It is going to be announced tomorrow at 1 p.m. and we will be bringing you a live stream tomorrow. We're doing a fan show, so we're going to get call-ins about the England squad, how you think it's going to be, how you think the tournament's going to play out, and obviously who you think is going to be the star men and who and just reacting to the squad in general, to be honest. So that's going to come your way around midway through the day tomorrow, around 1, 2 o'clock. But that is our squad. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of our squad and what changes you would make to the squad. Let me know in the comment section below. That is our England squad. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on England. Spurs, England.
Come on England. I forgot about that. Always come on you Spurs, but come on England.
Yeah.
Barbie.